is a new plan for the site of Northville Downs, and it has residents divided tonight. As our Kim DeJulia reports, it's not the first proposal, but this time the city is hoping to win over critics.
Northville Downs set to be turned into a development with luxury homes.
We've seen renderings of what the future could look like, but not everyone in the community has been sold on redeveloping the 80-year-old horse racing track.
As of right now, the deal to buy the roughly 50 acres of land here in Northville is still in the approval stages, which means business as usual for now, a business that's seen quite the boom since the close of Hazel Park. Northville Downs, the last horse race track standing in Michigan, will be hoofing it somewhere else. A staple since its start in 1944, some say the sight of sure-footed thoroughbreds and their jockeys here has diminished.
Like when I came up, you know, your father would take you to the racetrack and introduce you to horse racing. But now that they don't have a whole lot of live racing, don't nobody bring their kids out to the racetrack.
But the weekend live racing and weekday betting isn't winding down anytime soon. Northville Downs saying it'll stay open until the multi-million-dollar development starts. Welcome news for those running out of horse racing options in Michigan.
Track's been here over 100 years now, and the racetrack, the wagering part of it, our company's been here 76 years now. Not only has it been a family business for us, but it's been family businesses for a lot of the horsemen. I got into a exchange, a disagreement, so to speak, because of some rules that were being forced on us 2 weeks ago. And the guy that I had to deal with, he was a horseman, racing his horse. He brought his kids here, and his exact words to me were, "Mike, we're fifth-generation horse people." He goes, "This is what we do. We bring our kids to the track." And I told him, I said, "Because of the rules, you can't bring your kids here. I'm sorry." And it was painful because it is such a family business for so many people here other than just us. Same way, we've got two guys that will be racing tonight, and their dad was in the first races that ever raced here in 1944. So it's families after families after families. We've got employees that are second and third generation employees too. It's a pretty awesome history for us. And I say us as the whole community of people that live and work around this place. I was living in New York City, and my dad called me and said, "Mike, I need you here." And it was a surprise to me, because it was one of those things that he was never gonna just give us a job. There had to be a need for one of us to be here. The executive manager, general manager at the time, she was in failing health. And then I just slowly took over for her. She passed away in 2007, I believe, and I've been in that position ever since. It's stressful. It is stressful. Just based on the last, I've been here almost 20 years, and the last 20. It's been, you know, ups and downs, and you don't know exactly where it's going to be in the next 5 years, but you're always trying to plan 5 years out. It's not knowing what you're walking into each day or every hour. You know, it's one thing after the next here. When horses are on the grounds, when it gets cold and a pipe bursts, or you got an angry customer, and of course your phone rings because somebody has to talk. That's my maintenance guy, so we'll talk to him in a few minutes. I remember one day where I was having a tough day and I was here by myself on a live race day. It was early on in my career here, and I called John because he couldn't be here, and things were falling apart. And it was the little things. The little things were driving me nuts. And John said to me, look, it's like having a wedding every Friday and every Saturday. And the wedding's gonna start at 7:30. And if it isn't ready, if the cake isn't made, there's no cake. Just go have the wedding. Can't fix those things, just make it work. I said, geez, okay. And it made working, so that adrenaline rush, it's like rolling with the punches. You just figure out a way to make it awesome. And the truth of the matter is that most of the customers never know how hard we sweat in the back just to make sure that everything works.
I've worn a lot of different hats at the racetrack in the years I've been here. And I guess on a daily basis at this point now, I'm really just kind of overseeing what everybody else is doing. We prepare during the day for the live racing at nighttime, and that's really an essential focus of what I try to do when I'm here. I'm at a stage now where I've got both Eddie and Mike working here, and they really do a lot of what gets done around here on a daily basis, and I kind of just try to support them at this stage because this is our family business, and when I can see them doing their business, handling our business, and watching it happen as opposed to being part of it, oh my gosh, it's like one of the coolest things about the job. I was fortunate enough to catch what I would call the back end of the heyday of live racing, where it was something to see 5 nights a week, or sometimes 6 nights a week, not 2 nights a week. It was before the casinos, it was before the competition really got tough on us, but being able to watch it flow from my great uncle, who I didn't really get to spend a lot of racetrack time with, but you know, from about 1985, 86, I've been able to kind of hang on to my dad's coattails and get to see and experience a lot of interesting and really cool things in this industry. You could write books about guys like my dad, so it's an honor to work for him and to try to follow in what he's done for as long as he's done it.
Turning for hole, 9 places, Thunderbuck on the outside. That's Thunderbuck practically 9 places, second as he comes where Cargill racing.
The stories that the people that still worked at the track would tell me about my Uncle John, and of course the stories my dad would tell me about my Uncle John, and just the respect and loyalty that people had for him was just indicative of the respect and loyalty he had for them. Things don't happen like that anymore, and people don't really have those types of relationships. Being able to hear about how he ran this exact same business without all the things that we have now to run it with, he's a legend. It's legendary, his story is. And then, you know, for my dad to come work for him was, you know, the stepping stone. Then myself and Eddie and Mike and my sister Helen to all kind of fall into this business. I just had this moment of like, wow, I'm really like working not for my family, but with my family. And it's very rewarding.
Most of the people in the horse end of the business a lot of them are raised in it, and that's sort of been what they've grown up doing their whole life. Customers as well, a lot of times it's passed down from father to son. That becomes a lifestyle for them. You know, and I always joked about, wow, they come here all the time. And my dad said, people like to go bowling a lot. People like to play tennis, and there's different sports. This is a sport to them, and this is what they enjoy to do. And gambling for some people is what they choose and what they want to do, and that's kind of the element that we bring, I guess. Horse racing, especially more so harness racing than thoroughbred racing, has become, I want to say, a thing of the past, but it hasn't gotten the fans that it used to back in the 50s and 60s and 70s, mostly because there wasn't so much casino gaming, and there wasn't as other options of gambling. The lottery wasn't as popular, but it's really trying to make a comeback, I think, especially with the thoroughbreds and the popularity of the Triple Crown. And I hope that, it becomes a staple here in Michigan if we can ever get this business to get back to where we'd like to grow it to. The short term here is very uncertain, and until we kind of get a long-term business plan in place, we're a little bit on shaky ground as far as the long-term future. My objective is to, grow it, nurture it, and care for it like a child. I mean, that's really what it is to me. It's my baby, and I want to see it grow and do well. So I take a lot of pride in this business. I did think that this is something that I wanted to do years ago and continue the family's tradition and stay in the business working with my family. And it's sort of been my calling. I feel like I really don't want to be anywhere else doing anything else right now. This is where I feel like I belong. And it's been a pleasant journey. A few bumps in the roads, but we're figuring it out. Kind of by the seat of our pants some days. Well, I'm here with my two brothers, and we're making a go of it. It's the best we can with what we do and what we know. And I feel like the three of us together figure it out and what we have to get done. And I give them a lot of credit. They do so much behind the scenes that most people don't see. And they carry a lot of weight and a lot of pressure of what this business brings. And props to them. I think I get the lighter load some days, even though I'm in the building a lot of times. And they're don't have to be as much as I do some days, but they really do a lot of work that people don't see that goes a long way.
For myself and for Mike on this race day, it's really just making sure that everything that has been planned and prepped weeks or days ahead of time is being executed that day. So personally, what I do is I usually just try to walk the facility and make sure that's all ready. We walk the track, we walk the barn area. We just do a once over. We know now what needs to be done before race day and getting it prepped. Just pretend like you're throwing a party at your house every night. It starts at 7 o'clock. And they're all gonna leave by 11:30. So make sure that the floors are clean, make sure the windows are washed, and make sure if the toilet seats, if you wouldn't sit on them, don't expect somebody else to sit on them. So, that's kind of been my MO of getting the place ready and making sure that people come here on a daily basis and have a good time at our place.
You're gonna have 100, 120 horses show up between 2 in the afternoon and 7:30 at night. They're all gonna get on this racetrack and race, get back in their trucks and get out of here. And of those 120 horses, you might as well add another 200 people that are gonna be back there taking care of those horses, moving them from point A to point B, get them warmed up, cooled down, get it out to race, and then get a shower and back on a truck. It is an absolute chaos scene back there, but everybody knows what they're doing, and it's really awesome. On any given race day, or any big day here, whether we're talking about Kentucky Derby, but even like tonight, it's the energy is, it's on fire. You know, there's just there's a buzz in the air. You know, like you're part of something.
If I get that starting car tonight, I'm still gonna get those goosebumps. When I hear a good race call coming down the stretch, I still get goosebumps.
Seeing them come up the stretch, getting ready to start, and the starting gate is kind of like the most exciting part before the finish. It's a lot of fun, especially when you get a good competitive field.
As an example, last Friday, I remember walking up to meet the judges over some issue, and I walked from my office out into the grandstand, and a race was just coming to the finish. I heard a pop from the crowd that I hadn't heard in, I don't know, maybe years, because there were so many people here just screaming to the top of their lungs, and it's just one of those things where it's like, that's why you do it. That's why, because this is fun. This is so much fun to be part of.
This is a half-mile track, which is smaller, and I like it a lot better because I need the binoculars, but only really in that far turn. I called a race one time where you couldn't see the other side of the track, and basically I just said they're in the fog. And when they were in the fog, there was just silence, you know.
Oh, it's a lifestyle for sure. If I say I've known 200 people that got out of this business, all 200 came back. It might have been a year, might have been 3 months, might have been 5 years. They all come back. These people treat their horses better than they treat themselves. It's just amazing, you know, and stand the test of time. If we race 50 days a year here, that's tough because you're racing for maybe 6 months. Now, what do you do the other 6? You got to ship to Indiana, Illinois, Ohio, wherever. Meanwhile, it's wintertime out, you know, and you go there and you're an outsider and you just don't make the money that you would, you know, being local around here.
No. We were having problems with the track. I practically lived on it. I would literally go home, she'd be sleeping, I'd climb into bed, and then I'd get up and leave and she was sleeping, and I'd only get about 4 hours sleep. I always tell these guys I'll never miss a race day. I told Mike the other day, hey, listen, I think I'm gonna have to miss next Saturday. I'll come in the morning and make sure everybody's up and going, but I kind of want to be there for my daughter's wedding. He laughed, she says, yeah, no problem. 8th race field of 8 pacers, turning and heading for the starting gate.
All right, 1 minute. Let's start getting them together. 1, 2.
Starting gate is rolling, and it's post time. Here they go. They're off into PC. YS line charges out of the middle after connect. DJ Tanner at the back rally now with gusto. The half is on the warning. 57 and 4. Here continues to be Magic Short. Still the one to catch. Still has the lead. Still has the about left. YS line with the trick of a lifetime on the inside right there in second. Third up on the outside is O'Sullivan. That one facing the air. First up, a third on the ramp. 4 on the inside is Jet Sure Shot. 3 wide right now there with JJ Tanner. Short was after it where they roll. 126 and 3. That's a heel now for that final turn. He's going to take it to be in the sharp. Magic here to go with the catch. Why? And Ty Rory right there on the inside along the second. They cut the corner and turn for home. It's Magic Sharp. Why? She's headed to the outside. Magic Sharp. Why? Magic Sharp. Why? Magic Sharp is the wire. 55 and 2. And that's it.
Oh, that's pretty great stuff, man. That's exciting stuff.
Running racetracks is what we do. It almost seems hard to say because I don't vocalize that ever. But you know, if you're in the restaurant business and you grew up in the restaurant business and you go on and run a restaurant, that seems so much more normal than saying I run a racetrack because my father ran a racetrack, and his great uncle ran this racetrack. It's in our blood. It's just what we do. It's where we belong. It's where we feel comfortable. And I said that earlier, but it's. I couldn't imagine doing anything else. I can tell you that.
Remember, I told you I was 19 years old. I was destined for the standing on the corner for the rest of my life. And my father's brother took me under his wing, took me to Detroit, and showed me what people do and gave me a hell of an education. And I appreciated that, and I thought, not everybody gets a break like that. A lot of these guys I see, they didn't get lucky and get that mentor. And the mentor you get tells you how strong you're going to be. And there was never a choice between right or wrong with those guys. Who was going to be right? There was no way they bend. No way. There was no money, no influence, no nothing. Right was right, and they were there. And that's the way I was raised.
After being a part of Northville for so long, and after your Uncle John and stuff, did it feel strange to step away from it?
It felt strange, but I knew I knew I was there. I wasn't there, but I was there because I knew I could get there through John or Mike. I knew I really wasn't away from it. I was physically away from it, but emotionally, mentally, I wasn't away from it.
How has your relationship with Grandpa changed since retirement and since being around each other?
I really enjoyed the time together because for 40 years or so, he was always gone. So that was our chance to really be together. And I'd like to say, when supposedly John took it over, and I saw, what I was seeing was that they were so well versed in the newer technology. Little by little, when even simulcasting came in, there was a hesitancy. Well, we don't want to do that. But then once that took off, well, yeah, that was a good idea. So I saw that as a positive change when they were able to do things remotely. That he was always on site for everything and always gone from here. And so I saw John and then more Mike and Eddie, but they were always up there. But John being able to do things in many ways remotely. So is that kind of accurate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
From the first morning light, I can follow along, just to stumble and find what turns out to be wrong.
Can you believe it, kids? Here we are, ladies and gentlemen, right here at Niagara Falls. Vittorio Carlo giving you these scenes direct from the falls. standing on the Canadian side. And now pointing toward the American Falls and the Rainbow Bridge coming over to the falls. The group that was with me today to record this historic moment at the falls. Here they are, ladies and gentlemen, the rat-faced rats, here to enjoy this day at the falls.
The sky keeps staring at me, frozen in my tracks. Nothing else to see. And when I move my face left, you're always standing there. A shadow I can't see. And even then I can't trace. You're walking away. I put my ears to the ground, always pushing down. Nothing I can hear. I found the worst half in me. I'm cut off at the knees. Can't even take a stand against your words and beliefs. We didn't want to freeze.
I was an only child, and so I was never around little children other than babysitting. And he took me to Buffalo to meet his family, and his sisters and brothers, at least 3 of them, all had little ones like we did. And it was all of a sudden, it was like all these children exploded, and there was noise and chaos, and it was a surprise. It really was. And I just sat back and watched how the mothers interacted with the kids and the grandparents, and the men kind of always went to another room and turned the TV on and shut the door. The women were always with the children. But I really hoped that that would be me someday, you know, and it turned out I got to do the same thing.
I don't know whether or not you guys fully agree about this, but what's kind of neat about, I feel like, your guys' relationship is you both are 2 forces that were able to be apart. And so reasons I'm saying that is it's so hard, I feel like, for couples to be apart for as much as you guys were apart in those years and not stay. Most people fall apart, most families fall apart. Why do you think that didn't happen with you guys?
Because of her. She was that strong. I could have fell apart easy, but I would never advise anybody to do what she and I did in that frame. You should be together and you should stay together. We could have moved the family to Northville and been together, but that would have denied her parents the opportunity to be around the grandchildren. And it would have denied her the opportunity to be around her mother and father. Staying here was all right, you know, it was all right. But wherever you are, you should be together.
One of the things that we both feel passionately about is that our family stay stay connected and stay there for each other. I mean, now we're into our great-grandchildren, and to have the respect and the love for each other is very important. And I've seen him demonstrate that even more than me at times, you know, that that's who he is. He's very strong, and he might not tell you that. I've leaned so much on him, and is the way I have formed my being. I mean, he's everything to me. I don't know where I would be if it hadn't been for him.
We knew if we had the respect of our dad and the people that dad put in charge of us, we were going to be fine. But there was no free pass, and it was something that working was critical. You know, it was important. And if he would see that you couldn't work, and he knew what work was in this business, you couldn't fool him. He was the jobs I tell you that I did and that Mike and Eddie and Helen have done. He did them 35 years before we did them.
If you weren't working hard, then you were lazy, and lazy was just that was the sin, you know. When we were kids, he used to call a team meeting around the kitchen table because he needed to get some things straight in the house because everybody had to do their job. And I wouldn't have been surprised if my dad would have called team meetings here with with the employees here. But he, you know, but it's just about work, you know, just work hard every day.
When you learn from the best, and he was the best at this, still the best at, you know, this, you pick up on what you can, you know, on the best ways to do what he showed you how to do, so.
I didn't know how hard this job was until I got here and realized that he was doing the job essentially by himself, and it takes John and Eddie and I to do the same, and never shy away from it. You know, I think that was maybe even the next piece of that he taught me, was that hard work pays off. I haven't always followed that, but I try as hard as I can to do that. He's taught us a lot.
Growing up with my dad hardly ever being home and him only coming home for the weekends, or when I could, actually it was probably more like the weekdays back then. It was always a treat to see Dad come home because he was gone so much as we were growing up, whether it was in Chicago or Michigan. We just didn't have him around as much as a lot of other families. And I think that really paid off for us though, because his intent was to take care of the family and grow the business. And I think he did very well at that. The sacrifices he made for us, I think, are paying off in spades.
Warren County prides itself on being Ohio's largest playground, and it could be adding yet another attraction to the list. News 5's Karen Johnson is in Lebanon tonight to explain.
Well, this land right here behind Trader's World could be turned into a racetrack / casino, or racino. Lebanon Raceway's #1 pick. That's how Warren County Commissioner Pat South describes these 120 acres.
A banner in one exhibit hall explains where racing is going. Miami Valley Gaming has purchased the fairgrounds racing license to open up a combination casino and racetrack in Monroe.
The inside of the Tri-State's newest racino less than 2 months ago. Today, the work is complete and the very first visitors are streaming through its doors. The Miami Valley Gaming Racino is near I-75 and Route 63 in Warren County. It's 188,000 square feet, is home to 1,600 gaming machines, and there is no doubt the $175 million investment will pay off for the community.
Horse racing will bring a new level of excitement to Miami Valley gaming.
This has just been a godsend for this to happen, to generate employment, to generate the horsemen as a whole. We've been looking at this and wanting this to happen for 5 to 6 years now, and it's happened.
Okay, it's a really crazy story. We were still running Lebanon Raceway, but under Delaware North and Churchill Downs management for a year, after we sold it. Mel Hagemeyer, God rest his father, had to go to the hospital to visit his father. And he called me and he said, Helen, the people from Delaware North are lost, and I need you to go find them and take them to the site. We get to these trailers on this huge site, and the head construction guy, his name was Jeff Sellers, he says, you can stay. So I ended up doing the layout of the that was the meeting, to do the layout of the simulcast room and all stuff. I'm like, what am I doing here? I just got done making programs for today's races. And John got a call that night from Bill Bissett, which is a big name at Delaware North. And he said, do you know this girl, Helen Carlo? She must be, is this your wife? What's going on? And he said, no, that's my sister. Why? He said, well, she can run it, can't she? And he was like, yeah. He gave all the confidence that I'm not sure he had, but he knew that he would hold my hand through that process, because that's the kind of brother he is. It was an opportunity for me to learn a business we hope to still be in Michigan, and learn it here in Lebanon before everybody and have some insight. I don't think the general public has any idea, that harness racing, that the sport exists. But if you live in Warren County, Ohio, or Northville, Michigan, then that was where your grandma went, where your dad took you, where they all went, that they packed the stands. So the Racing Commission, because I became a part of needing to present a racetrack to the Racing Commission, I had the respect, and I'm not gonna lie, it was because of who my dad was. So the executive director and the chairman, they all liked me. They knew that I was that little girl that drove them up there when I turned 16. I was the girl in the back. So that was all fine. And I was very fortunate as well, as part of the executive team at Miami Valley, to get the respect I felt a female deserved. I was trying to support those guys that were hungry with us, that lived through that red zone with us, that they were hungry. And it's so nice that the money is now there for them to buy these nice trucks and to have these nice rigs to get the right protein for their animals. And, they were struggling. There wasn't a lot of money to put food on the table when you break everything out and you feed your animals. And so, yeah, I was worried about them. I recently resigned and still support the harness racing industry in every way I can and in every way my dad or brothers need me, but it might not be my next career.
St. Linda, really, what do you say about somebody who has taken every challenge ever thrown at her with grace and dignity and
told his parents that their son had just a slim 5% chance of living. Everyone is now happily surprised that this Lebanon, Ohio boy is spending his first night home after a brutal accident. Steve Raleigh reports.
You take care. After just 19 days, Mike Carlo is going home. It was just 2 weeks ago he was in a coma, and doctors prepared the family for his eventual death. But this 11-year-old beat the odds.
Kelly, could I have one of your pencils?
It's fries and hamburgers now, but the last time Mike was home, an ambulance raced to take Mike to the hospital after he was hit by a truck on his bike. On this bike, Mike had his accident just a few blocks from here. Doctors say the recovery process should have taken months. It only took a few weeks. Doctors are calling it remarkable. His parents are calling it a miracle.
It's a feeling of he was gone and he's back, and he's back better than any way we could ever dream he'd be back.
We came home and tried to prepare the rest of the family, and they knew then how bad it was.
Mike's parents credit doctors and prayers for Mike's amazing recovery. These lists represent 72 hours of straight prayer by friends during one critical time. And well-wishers as far away as Canada let Mike know their thoughts were with him. What were you thinking about driving home today when you're coming home from the hospital?
my friends and my family.
Happy to be home.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure, therapy will be necessary, but this family is just happy that they're able to put up a welcome home sign after this whole ordeal. Steve Raleigh, News 5 Tonight.
We're sitting in the coffee shop at the hospital. Everybody's crying, including me. And they said, when you get confirmed, you get a name. You're confirmed. Now, this is the part of the story you can't believe, but it's true. They said, what name would you like us to? I did not say this, but my mouth opened and it said, name him Lazarus. When Lazarus went down, it was I think it's 4 days later he rose. On the 4th day, at the church, school church that we're at here in Lebanon, said we're having a special mass and we're all praying for Mike. I went to the mass and I was kneeling there and they come in, tapped me on the shoulder and said, come on out. And when I came out, they said, Mike is awake. Holy shit, I thought, ooh, am I dreaming? Or can this be true? He was in a hospital room with like 6 other kids, but he was by the window. The window had a shade drawn. The shade drawn had a light coming through it, much like this light. And Mike was sitting up in bed, his head completely shaved, staples in, and honest to God, I thought there was a glow around his head. I couldn't believe it. Now, I share that once in a while, but that's what makes my belief private. When you get struck that close, you think, why do I deserve this? Or why am I getting this privilege? You better behave. You better, don't go raving. You better absorb it, take it for what it's worth.
From early March of that year till December, New Year's Eve even, we had a challenge almost every month. You know, saying goodbye to family, saying hello to new babies, accidents, heart attacks. I mean, what's next? But God saw us through, and with the support of the family, and you pull together through those times, and you look back and you think, how could I have made it? And somehow you gain the strength, and when you're weakest, that's when God's strength comes through.
I'm the oldest living person in our family. If anybody said, how did you live so long? I'm positive I would say, because I married Linda. Because I swear to God, I don't think I could make it without her.
We were sitting in the dining room, and it was John and Eddie and myself, and my dad said to Eddie and I, said, remember, no one in this world will ever love you more than your mom. And that is so true. And that is so proven. Not against any other person that has ever tried to love me. I just know that my mom has loved her children more than anything on this earth, and almost puts a new definition to love, the way she is taking care of her kids. She's one of a kind.
She's a good one. She's the best of them. Family starts at home, and she was always at home. She was always there. She was always ready. I threw some crazy stuff at her. My brothers threw some crazy stuff at her. My sisters threw some crazy stuff at her. God threw some crazy stuff at her. But she never quit loving you or loving us, you know, and that was what kind of pushed us, you know, to fight for what we love, you know, and we love this game like we love our family. So I think she's really she's the one that taught us all how to be a family, you know. Not taking anything away from my dad, obviously, but she was mom, you know, she was mom. And, yeah. There's none of them better out there, that's for sure.
She's been through a lot of trials in raising 6 of us now, because Joey came along when I was 17. And there was a lot of trials that she's gone through, between broken bones or time before kids were always where they said they would be. Yeah. We didn't have cell phones to track each other, so oh, my mom. If there's saints that live. Oh wait, yeah, there are.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's one.
She is one of them for sure.
She's one.
I mean, just like when Mike had his accident, and we weren't around to see a packed church, standing room only of people gathering in prayer the night that they didn't expect him to live. I found out about it a long time after that. You know, so those things really, really touch you.
Well, I'm a 6-way bypass survivor for a long time. And the reason why I'm alive today is because she takes good care of me. That's all there is to it. She doesn't let me go. Yeah.
See that girl?
Knots on the inside of it.
Go ahead, Ed.
No, wait a minute. You got any commentary
Hey, Ed.
yet?
You know what I'm getting us for Christmas?
No.
Eddie play that.
No.
Hey, Ed.
Yeah, play
you
us
know what
this.
I'm getting us for Christmas? A stand-up roller. But you know what I really have to do, John, in order for you to get an orderly picture? I have to simply just remove these 2 and set them behind the chair. See, otherwise you're gonna have to.
What'd you take
Yeah.
the pictures off?
Joe
the
took a
wall
picture
for? You didn't think that
of
was...
the inside of the couch.
What?
Take a picture, Ellen.
No, they're too busy.
Flashed.
Hey,
There's there's
You know,
where.
Lynn, you don't want to repeat
Oh, I wasn't
that.
looking at you.
You know what I'm saying?
John, come
The estimated ESTP, estimated time of the picture was 11 o'clock.
Yes.
We ain't gonna make it. Now, the next time we do this, Mayor, we're all gonna, the boys will all dress like MC Hammer and the girls dress like Madonna.
No, I said we're
I'm gonna wear Madonna clothes.
No, I said we're gonna get on the floor and sit on the beach.
There's
that's a good one. Take a Christmas picture in the
I think
Bahamas.
John Beck
you
likes
have
MC
fun
Hammer
and
and Madonna better.
Well, we're gonna line a surfboard. Be landing
I think we should
like
do
this.
we should get our pictures taken in the Bahamas on a cruise ship.
Yeah.
Somebody dresses me up like MC Hammer.
Nobody's
I'm
gonna be
a
more of a
okay?
Okay.
Hey.
All right.
Hey.
You're dressed to kill.
Yeah, all right.
He doesn't got shoes
Joe, you gotta get up there
Where do you
now.
want me to stand, Dad?
Where do you want me to sit?
We're gonna do it both times, both places. Okay, remember now, I have to keep my hands down. You guys can lean on it if you like. Eddie, you can put your hand on Mary's shoulder if anything like that, if you want to do something like that.
Off that shoulder pad, buddy.
Right around her head. I don't know.
Okay, now it's gonna be picture time, not video camera.
Yeah. We had smoke getting all out of hand downstairs, and everybody's pretty stressed and frustrated. So let's take a pre-Christmas party tour. CD
And
playing.
every mother's child is gonna smile.
We got the whole place decked out. Hi, Mary. Is everybody ready down there? You hate being on here, don't you? Okay. Let's go. We're all ready for this. Hey, choo-choo train. Can we get a shot of the choo-choo train, Bob? There she is.
There she remains to be because she won't be here.
Oh, why didn't we do that in the first place?
I don't know.
Do things the hard way. That's our motto here on the Christmas cookery. Look at that wonderful rubbish disposal. That must be why the Carlos are numbered among Lebanon's rich and famous.
Obviously. Yes, he's taping.
Recalled 1 16th century Rembrandt. Madonna with child. Estimated value $20,000. And how wonderful. Adelante sus libros en la página 103. This is a Carlo original. Estimated value $10,000. And what's this? Dating from the 3rd century BC. Champlevé, Diovaden, Angel. Estimated value $11,000. And what's this? Matching spice shakers. Estimated value $11 million. That's a lot of smackaroos. One original Etch-a-Sketch. Estimated value $5.37.
When I was pregnant with Joe, and I was 40 years old, and our kids were teenagers, and we were all outside trying to get them to do yard work, wash the cars, whatever, and they were all complaining. Oh my gosh, it was, I mean, the neighborhood probably would look at it and go, oh, you know, why did they move into our neighborhood, right? And he looked at me and pointed to my belly. He says, we got one more chance to get it right.
Yeah.
Come on, I want to show you something. Mom, can you come with us for a second?
Sure can.
We want to show you something.
Stop. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Whoa, see what difference that makes?
Oh boy, Joey, you hit it a mile. What do you think? Home run, guy.
Growing up in Lebanon was interesting because I feel like everybody knew our family, but I didn't know anybody because I was the baby and I maybe meet this person, that person, or whoever, but I felt like everybody knew me growing up, or at least knew our family. It seemed like all of Lebanon had this idea of what a Carlo was, but I didn't know what that was, but I just knew it was, you know, my parents and my siblings. But then as you get older, you realize that, you know, Dad worked his tail off at the track. Mom worked her tail off raising 6 kids. And at the end of the day, we all love each other. And that's kind of what it all boils down to, you know? I mean, you work hard, you love hard, you play hard. And I guess if you're lucky, the whole town will know who you are. But, you know, I think being a hard worker, being someone that loves your family, that's what being a Carlo is, yeah.
How much about the racing business do you guys know? And what was your involvement, if any?
Oh my God. You go first.
Okay, so the one experience that I've had at the track was working in the programs, like selling programs. That lasted one day, so I don't have a whole lot of experience in the harness racing business.
My involvement with the business is none. My memories of the business are, well, I know my dad works at a racetrack. My brothers work at the racetrack sometimes. My involvement was going to the track to play Mortal Kombat at the arcade because they had like a corner set up with like maybe 10 machines. So you'd play like off-road, you'd play Mortal Kombat, whatever else they had, I honestly don't even remember. There was one day where I punched tickets at the track. I don't know why it only lasted one day. I thought I was good at it, but I think I was good at it.
You probably were.
Yeah, I think I was, you know, slow. It's your first time doing it, but
I never got
for whatever reason, I think it was Derby week or something, so I was just helping out. And then I never did it again, and that was my involvement. Between us, we've worked 2 days at the track.
That's so funny.
When I was little, I remember we'd go on a Friday night and you would sit in line in the parking lot waiting to get in. The grandstand would be packed full. You'd walk outside on the apron and there'd be 4 or 5 people deep standing in line just to watch the race. I would roll up a program and would sit there with my feet propped up and horses would turn for home. I'd just go to beating on the desk and start squalling and yelling at the horse like I was driving them when I was little, and it never stopped. It just never stopped. The purses we race for now, they're astronomical. And I got one racing in 2 days. He's racing for $15,000, and that's a week. So I'm racing for 60 grand every month. If I have my horses in shape, they're where they need to be, I can make all the money I need to make. Yep. He's gonna go home, take him to the house, turn him out till Friday morning. Do what? For what? They don't need fly spreads. Why God gave them a tail. Yeah, that's why the good Lord gave them a tail. They don't need fly spray. He put that on there to swat flies away. And that's why they got 4 tops, to keep the flies out of their eyes. Every day you go in, you're jogging your horses. You got 8 of them in there. You got to get them all ready, jog them 4 to 5 miles a day, train them once a week. You're racing your older horses once a week. And then when we get done jogging, bring them in, strip all their equipment back off of them, take them down to the bath stall, give them a hot bath. If they train, they get a soap bath, get them all lathered up again. And once they're cooled out, we wrap up their legs, rub down their legs with liniment, making sure all their ligaments and their joints are okay and things of that nature. Because if they're not feeling well and 100%, I can't make any money. And it's doing them no service, a disservice, and it's doing me a disservice, both of us. People take way better care of their animals than they get credit for. They get finished racing, they come home, they're in a 2 to 3 acre field for 2 days, literally get some sunshine, grass, lay around, relax, just to refresh, reset their head, let them be a horse. Nowadays, 30 times, and you're done. You give them the rest of the time off, you race them 30 starts, and it's time, you'll kick them out for a month, let them play for a whole month, month and a half in the field, let them relax, start back over again, reset their system, just like any athlete. You can't go 12 months a year, year-round, but we do. We get a lot of bad publicity, and it stinks because it hurts the business more and more and more. You don't get into the business. The business gets into your blood. And once it's in, it doesn't leave. And I know many people, they've left, but they all come back. It all comes back home.
He's got a Bigfoot?
Yeah, it's real cute.
Another one? You know the price. Okay. Okay.
That's all you have to do to get good races, isn't it?
Come here, give me a hug and a kiss. I'm going bye-bye. Give me a kiss. Give me a hug.
To be honest, I was unfortunate because I didn't get to spend as much time with my dad when I was young. And once I got older, I could be able to be around him more. And he's an amazing guy. He just, day in, day out, if I have any questions, I can call him. And he's given me so many opportunities, even to train horses. And he said it many times. If somebody's going to train my horse, it's going to be my kid training my horse. I'm not paying somebody else to train my animal. When we have our bad days racing, because you're going to, it doesn't matter, any business you have, you're going to have your bad days. I can call him and vent, and he'll take it. And then there's days that he calls me and he's ripping me. Just like he's my boss. I mean, yeah, I say I'm my own boss, but I still have owners to please, and he's one of them. If his horses aren't performing to the potential they are, then we have a problem. And we address those issues and try to move forward through them. But I wouldn't want to do it with anybody else.
There's blue ones upstairs in my room. Go put them
Hey,
on
AJ.
or something.
AJ.
Or red ones.
Remember what I told you?
Red.
Remember the secret I told you? Remember? 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 I don't know.
I'm going to smile.
Are you going to?
It's a deal.
See? Now you see?
Super proud. I mean, I'm not going to cry for you guys. I know you're going to try to get me to, but no, I'm just, yeah, it's every dad's dream to watch his kids be successful at what they do. And not only be successful, but enjoy it, and when I see the things he does and I see the time and the commitment that he puts in, plus he's a super dad and a super husband, it really shows that this is in his blood, like it's in our blood. It's just on the other side of the track as opposed to the front side. It's on the back side. It's definitely a blood sport because there's a lot of people that have found their way into this game from their brothers, sister, fathers, mothers, uncles, grandpas, whether it's in the back stretch in the barn area where AJ is or over here, on this side of the building.
It's been in the family for a long time. We're coming up on 100 years, like you said, and it goes back to people that I don't even remember because I was too young. And that's how long this has been going on. And for any business to sustain 20 years, 30 years, 40 years is tough, let alone get to 100. With the way things have gone recently, you realize how hard it is to keep a business sustaining and keep small businesses afloat. And we're one to show for it. We have our 2 kids, 2 boys, Gianni and Julian. And Gianni's wild. And he does. He goes to the track. He loves going to the barn with me. Gianni, I'm going to go feed dinner. I'm going, Daddy. I'm going. Okay, come on, boy. And I'll take him with him. I do my best to try to keep him away from it because you don't know where the business is going. And that's always the fear of, not are we not capable of doing it, but is there going to be enough income there 20 years down the road for somebody to sustain a lifestyle doing it as we are now? But it's just amazing to see the progression there. If it's available, I'd love to see them do it if that's what they want to do. But it's so cool. Having my wife at the barn every day. She's there every day, helps. She takes care of 5 horses, and I couldn't do it without her. She's my rock.
Walk around second guessing. Hold the summer in your hands till the summer turns to sand. We were staring at a ceiling, thinking of what we give to have one more day of sun. One day of
It started with Great Uncle John, my great great Uncle John, then Grandpa, then Dad, now me, and my two boys. If they want to continue on and keep it in the blood, more power to them. We'll go 5 generations deep. We're not scared.
Mel Hagemeyer, who was secretary, who was at the racetrack, manager of the racetrack, Joe Essick, AJ, Carlo, Brittany, Essick, those two got married, and that's their cousins, and that's me. Can you believe that? Now, you ready? This one is AJ's, one of his first wins, I think. And that's him. We were also happy we were out there. Look at that.
What was the purse on that one? That was
Got probably 2 cents. Let me see.
Let
Let me see. What was a purse?
So hard.
Purse. I don't know what was a purse. $600. Are you kidding me? Hold that one a second. 600. What? What was this one? This was $2,026 for that one, and this one was 600, I guess, right? But can you believe they got married? Amazing.
Crazy. That's crazy.
Thank you, Shirley. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I think we're gonna call it a
All right.
day.
Yeah, love you. We said hi.
I will.
You know I'm getting married? After
No.
32 years. Are you ready?
No, when?
I don't know when. Wait. Here's the deal. So he gave me this for my birthday. And he said, I said, well, I'll just stick it here. No, put it on this finger. I said, Yeah, so,
Oh, on the left hand.
But last night, this one came. So we're supposed to be engaged, I think.
Oh my gosh.
Now listen.
Us women don't communicate well with our men, do we? I mean, they got more out of Lou than I have in 53 years.
He would get married in a heartbeat. But I thought, after 32 years, I need to wait a while and see what's going on here.
Feelers out.
Feel them out.
Lots of fish and sea, Shirley.
They were doing an interview with me today, and he said, "Well, tell us how you felt about meeting Linda, or the vice versa."
Right.
And I never heard him say some of the words that he said, and it
Oh,
was
really?
like it's a whole new world opened up to me today.
Oh, great.
Yeah, but compliments and things like
That's
that.
great. That's
But I said I
wonderful.
have to have somebody move into me and who can do the questionnaire and
I
go
want it in my head.
tell him what he.
That's great. That's great.
Routine, the
having two loving parents is, I mean, if a kid's got two parents that love the kid and care for the kid and love each other and care for each other, they're already ahead, because so many kids grow up without one of those things or any of those things even. So to grow up in a house with 5 loving siblings, 2 loving parents, I mean, that's an enormous blessing in and of itself. Once the kids did come along, it was certainly, yeah, I mean, let's do it right. You know, let's do it the way Mom and Dad did it, essentially. I mean, there's a little bit of that in there, and certainly in raising the kids, I find myself asking, like, what would my dad have done in this situation? And
I think they're doing well, and I think they'll do well. Yeah, I just remember when you were taking those pictures last night. That was a family of 8, and how many times when one lives in the West Coast and the other one lives in Detroit, how many times do you think they're going to get them together? When you get them together, it's a gift. It's a gift.
Every strand of hair, yeah. You know someone's watching you, watching me, watching you, and all that we look upon. You may not know me, but you feel my stare. And if she sees you, it changes you, rearranges your molecules. And if you see her, it changes her. She's a danger now after school. Watching you, watching me, watching you, you know all that we look upon. You may not know me, but you feel my stare.
Well, John was always busy. I mean, he's a busybody, so Eddie would tease me when Toria's mad that I'm up till 2 in the morning playing video games. That's all Mike's fault.
Well, I'm the new kid, I'm just coming up. A lot of rappers think that I can't tear it up. Well, I'ma show them and ignore them. And when they think I ain't looking out for them, I mean, take them out. I keep moving. A slick bass line, keep the beat moving. They can't take it, they just fake it. They wonder how the raw bass make it. I get ill, you know the.
Next we have number 30, Helen Carlo. She will be playing a trilogy of Kookaburra, Little Brown Jug, and Tenderfoot Polka on her clarinet.
Palm it up now. Keep it going, keep it going. Palm it up. I keep smoking, hot like fire. You have to turn.
Hey, Shop.
Don't talk back.
I'll make a funny face.
I'm not lying. Number one is where I'm flying. I won't slow down.
What do you think about that kid, Mary?
And then, for the special touch, we put don't ever squeeze the lime in because you don't know if they'll really like lime. Just place it on the side. It's the most perfect gin and tonic ever created.
Little limey. Little Jenny.
Mom was like paparazzi in the bushes taking pictures.
Stop it.
I swear, she's gone now.
You know she's gonna go post it on Facebook or something.
Probably, yeah. Probably.
I want to prove that I do buy Cocoa Puffs once in a while.
Huh?
I want to prove that I buy Cocoa Puffs once in a while. Joe.
Well, tell me when you're
Hi.
finished.